Alright, so like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called The Whole Truth. This is not like the Keanu Reeves one I did for 2017. This is a 2021 horror story. Spoiler alert, let's just get it. So we started with this family. His name is Putt, his mom's name is Mia, and his sister's name is Pim. Her mom's got some weird names for her kids. By the way, their cat's name is Latte. I don't know what she can with these fucking names or whatever. So the kids are going to school and mom's getting a promotion at her job. We find out Pim does cheerleading. They're voting on who should be the team captain. And her friend is going to make sure that she gets to be team captain, because she thinks she's the only one qualified enough to do it anyway. Also, we see Putt back home with this dude named Fame. They're just sitting around playing video games. I guess he already went to school and came home or whatever. Pim just got back home and now she's about to go upstairs. This nigga Fame's infatuated with Putt's sister. So you're thinking to yourself right now, why isn't Putt doing anything? Well, for one reason, Putt's crippled. I'll tell you about the second reason later. So he goes upstairs and starts peeking in on Pim getting dressed and whatnot. Yeah, he's a fucking pervert, right? So she catches him and slams his foot in the door. So then he gets pissed off and goes back downstairs to Putt. So apparently the second reason he didn't stop him is because Putt promised Fame a chance at his sister. And if he didn't do it, he would release this video to the school. Now, what video does he have? He has a video of his sister doing something, apparently. Later on, Pim calls her mother. And they were supposed to celebrate by going out and get something to eat. But Mia's got work late, so she's not going to be there in time. She tells her to whip up something from the fridge, you know, for her and her brother. But when Mia's driving home, suddenly a car comes out of nowhere and hits her. I'm like, oh shit. We don't know if she's alive or dead right now. We don't know what the fuck going on. All of a sudden they get a knock at the door and their grandfather's at the door. He tells them the situation about his mom and they about to take her to the hospital. But they were skeptical at first because their mother never told them anything about their grandparents. Hell, they didn't even know if they were still alive or not. Nevertheless, they go to the hospital and see their mom Mia in a coma. Afterwards, grandpa ends up taking them into their custody. They're going to go live with their grandparents. And there's Juan, their grandma. Now, she recognized Pim right away, but when she looked at Putt, she started calling him Crit. So now we're thinking to ourselves, who the fuck is Crit? Well, anyway, they take the kids back to the grandparents' house, and they're thinking to themselves, fuck, we left Latte at the house, their cat. But Putt reassures that he should be alright for a day, you know what I'm saying? He's got food and water and all that. But every now and then we start hearing these noises coming from the door. We're like, what the fuck is that? It actually sounds like somebody scratching along the wall or something. Next morning, the grandparents get them up ready to eat breakfast. And Grandma always fixes these eggs and bread and hot dogs the same damn way. All the time, every day. That just seems crazy in itself, right? Now, he talks about Grandma and says that she's been coming down with dementia. And that's why she confused Putt's name with Crit. It was like, okay. But once again, who the fuck is Crit? And for some particular reason, Grandma keeps forcing Putt to drink milk. She tells him it's only to build up his bones, you know what I'm saying, because he's crippled him and leg down. But she constantly keeps forcing him to drink all of his milk. So they're worried about the cat Latte. He's like, don't worry about it. House cats will be fine. He'll make his way here. Like, how the fuck is a cat gonna make his way here? And on top of that, he needs the kids to watch after Grandma. But the way he's saying it, I'm thinking to myself, are you gonna let them go to school? Like, what the fuck? So then they go back to visit their mom in the hospital, and he has some good news and bad news. Good news, she has no physical problems. Bad news, her mental state is only given a 50-50 chance of waking up. So the kids got most of their stuff from the house. But when Putt goes back in the house, he sees this fucking hole in the wall. What the heck is behind that hole? So while Granddad dips out, Pim is going back in the house. So when Putt looks through the hole, he sees this area in the house. It looks like a whole nother area, right? But if you really look closely, it looks like the same area there, and it's just dirtier. All of a sudden, the door opens up. This little girl pops up through the hole. He's like, what the fuck? Pim looks over. She's like, man, don't worry all about that. Everything's all good and gravy. So both of them can see this hole there, right? Later on, they tell them about the hole that's there, but neither of the grandparents can see the hole. So they're tired of nonsense, tell the kids go back to bed, but Grandma turns around and looks over at this hole on the other side. Looks like where a clock used to be. But she tells them it's 8 o'clock, it's time to get to bed. Now how the fuck would she know what time it is? They both end up going to bed, but they still tripping. They got the next morning, oh, I guess she is still going to school, alright. And she knows it's a full bowl of cat food, so she's like, where the fuck is Latte at? But Juan just comes up with an excuse like, maybe Latte didn't wake up yet. So Putt goes to school, he's got to deal with Fame. Fame's like, I ain't heard from you in a couple days, what's good, man? He tells him he's living with his grandparents now, but Fame don't give a fuck about all that. Back at Grandpa's house, and I just noticed something. The house next to it is all burnt the fuck up. Huh. Putt ends up bringing Fame back to the house. So while Fame's waiting on Putt's sister, he's explaining to him about this hole. Of course, Fame doesn't see the hole either. But Putt starts looking through it again, and he sees this girl is all the way fucked up in it. Face all black like tar, starts coughing up blood. It's like, what the fuck? Fame starts laughing at him. Putt tells him to look through the spot and tell him what he sees. But the spot pulled his face into the wall. He gets a busted nose, and he thinks Putt pushed him into the wall. Pim comes home and he hears Fame spazzing the fuck out. Then he tells her about the video. He says he's gonna post that shit anyway. The crazy thing is he goes to get his bag, his phone slips out and is sitting on the couch. He doesn't even notice it as he leaves. So she goes down and cleans up the blood that was left on the ground. But when Grandma comes downstairs, she sees the blood is still on the ground. It's like, what the fuck? She starts spazzing out. Then she started calling Putt Crit again. And once again, we're thinking to ourselves, who is Crit? Later that night, the kids wake up. They say they heard a noise. Grandpa goes downstairs to check it out. When he goes downstairs, he finds Juan on the ground just spazzing out. Then she gets up and says she's never going to forgive him for this. Forgive him for what, though? Kids don't know what the hell to think. Next morning, same breakfast, same shape, same pattern. And once again, Juan has this obsession with making sure Putt drinks all his milk. And while I'm mentioning this, Putt ends up getting sick every now and then. Later on, Grandpa goes to the chief of police and we find out he used to be an outstanding officer back in his day. He finds out the driver that hit Mia was apparently this guy named Cheon. The report said Cheon was in the back seat with his girlfriend and somebody else was driving. The thing is, Cheon's father's a wealthy man. He can get people out of any situation. But he thinks it's Cheon's fault and he wants him to go down for all this shit. Basically, he wants to make him pay for Mia accident. And on top of that, whoever was driving the car was drunk driving. And Shion apparently has a habit of drunk driving, so Grandpa's automatically pointing the finger at him. Back at the house, the kids hear noises as they look through the hole again. But this time, Pim ends up looking through the hole. And she sees a little girl trying to escape the closet. Just blood all over the floor, going towards this painting. But when Putt looks through there, the girl's right in front of the thing with a hole in her head. It's like, what the fuck? So now they think this girl is either alive or dead or in danger, and they think that they got to go next door to help her. Then Pim looks through the hole again, and she sees this same girl holding a baby. Then she starts coughing up blood on it. What the heck is going on here? And because they keep seeing different things, Pim decides, fuck that, I'm not going over there. This shit's freaking me out. Later on that night, out the blue, Latte shows back up. Some happiness in her life. Latte's back. But the happiness don't last long, because while they sleep, Putt wakes up and looks over. Who the heck is that girl touching Pim's face? What is this? Next thing you know, Pim wakes up the next morning ready for school. And Putt's feeling all sick, bad face. He got blood all over his shirt. What the heck happened to him last night? Later on, we get the news that Cheon confessed to the hit and run, and his father got him off scot-free. I don't think he was driving the car, but bottom line is, he got away with it. Now, he's sitting there with his daughter Mia at the hospital bed. And by the way he overreacts in this movie, you could tell he's about to do some real shit. That face should say it all right there. So Grandma asks as if Putt's feeling better, but her only remedy to all this shit is to keep giving him goddamn milk. Pim was trying to get him to a hospital, but Grandma wasn't having none of that. Then Grandma reminisces about a picture of her daughter, and she learns that Putt likes to draw and he has this book. She starts flipping through the pages, but then this random picture comes up and Grandma spazzes the fuck out. But he really shows his grandma he did not draw that picture. Crazy thing is, after he drunk some milk to make Grandma leave, he was going over his pictures again. The spot where that picture was at turned up blank. You're like, what the fuck? So apparently back at cheerleading, everybody was trying to pick a team captain, but she didn't realize her best friend's name was in the vote running too. Nevertheless, Pim ended up winning. But then Pim started getting suspicious of her friend the entire time. See, when Fame left his phone at the house, Pim kept it and deleted the video. But then she saw some other stuff on there. Turns out Pim's supposed best friend was the person that actually recorded the video and gave it to Fame in the first place. Cause she really ain't her friend, she don't like her. She ended up leaking the video anyway and everybody saw it. The thing she didn't know, Pim already gave the captain evidence of everything she was trying to do. And her vote got the squad 5 regardless. That's why Pim won the competition. And that's why she the team captain. Back at home, Putt's not getting a lot better. In fact, he's been throwing up a lot of blood lately. Then we go to this scene where Chayu is chilling with a bunch of people, just partying, getting it cracking, and doing what they do. Think he doesn't realize his grandpa's there checking out the scene. What kind of evil intentions does he have up his sleeve? Meanwhile, the kids wake back up again because they keep hearing sounds while they're sleeping. And they look through a hole again, but this time there's a guy laying on a couch. Who the heck is this dude? Looking normal. Well, anyway, they end up seeing the girl calling out the closet again, all bloodied and whatnot. So what does all this mean? Then Putt notices the room looks the same as the room that they're in now. He thinks they're trapped in like a wormhole or something like that. The events they're seeing are events that played out in the past in the same room. Grandpa comes back and they want some answers. So Grandpa's had enough. So he's going to use this cover to close up the hole where the hole could possibly be for him because he doesn't know exactly where it is. Later on, Grandpa puts on his old cop uniform, gets a gun, he's got a bunch of bullets. What's he planning on doing? So while the kids are trying to go back to sleep, all of a sudden the cover falls on its own by itself. Cover gets knocked down, they see the hole is still there. Next thing you know, this nigga Chiwan is driving on the road. Apparently his father had police on the payroll, that's why he was able to even get off scot-free. So he's going down this intersection, he almost ends up hitting this car. The cop pulls him over, this nigga pulls out a gun. Before he can do anything, the cop smashes his face against the wheel. Next thing you know, Mia wakes up out of her coma like, oh shit. Then we see the cop that was beating up Chiwan is actually a grandpa, of course. He ends up smacking him around, he's talking about, yeah, you're not gonna get away with this, my father's gonna buy out all this shit. He's gonna have your badge, sir. He ends up beating the crap out of this dude, pouring the alcohol that he had on him all over his body. The alcohol that Chion had on him in the car seat. Then he basically tortures this nigga. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, he just straight up done deals him. The entire time, detectives are trying to call him to let him know that his daughter woke up. Too little too late for his mayhem. But when she finds out the kids are staying with her grandparents, she's like, oh fuck no, I gotta get up out of here. So what's the deal with her grandparents? Back at the house, they're all cleaning up. And grandma keeps talking about she hears the noises too. And in fact, she can actually see the hole in the wall. So when they ask her what's really good, Juan says she's been hearing this noise for like 15 years. Her grandfather was just playing it off like dementia because everybody thought she was crazy. So he just put her on pills all this time. But she's really been hearing and seeing the same thing the kids have been hearing and seeing. Pim ends up looking through the wall again, but this time the house looks like it's in regular condition. Everything's all fine, right? We see the guy sleeping on the couch again. Then we see this lady holding a baby. We find out this lady is actually Mia. The baby she's holding is Prim, and she's supposed to be pregnant with her son, Putt. These two people that walked in are actually the grandparents. And apparently the girl that was in the hole, the one that had the charcoal skin the whole time, was this girl named Prina. Prina was actually the third child Mia had. Basically, they're non-living siblings.
What in all of the fuck?
I'm still confused how they're seeing that through the wall. I know Putt was talking about some worm loop, time loop shit, but still. So Putt looks through the wall, and we see Grandpa found Prina in the closet dead as shit. But why was she in the closet the whole time? At that time, Mia was blaming the whole situation on Crit. And at that point, the grandpa did too. Turns out Crit was just on the couch drunk, completely knocked out. So then they find out Crit is actually their father. And that's why Grandma kept confusing Putt for Crit. Then they're about to look through again and see what else is going on in the hole. Before that happens, Grandpa goes back to the hospital and finds out his daughter done dipped out. So back at the house, Grandma finally tells what happened that fateful day. See, Crit actually was their father and he's a painter. His daughter Prina came down the stairs and she was actually a deformed baby. That's why her eye was messed up. She wanted to play hide and seek with him. She was going to hide and he was going to seek her. So as you can tell, he's definitely a drinker. She ends up hiding in that little closet, and Grandma says he got completely drunk and forgot about his daughter and he was sprung out on the couch asleep. And they said by the time they found her, she was dead. So apparently Pena died of rat poison that was inside the fucking closet. Now thinking to ourselves, why the fuck would she drink rat poison while she's in there? Some crazy shit, right? Then she tells the story of what happened to Crit. Turns out there was a struggle. He tried to take the gun from Grandpa and he ended up shooting himself. He's lying there dead, holding the gun. Mia's crying, but that story sounds like some bullshit. Grandpa was telling Mom how he felt guilty about how Pena died. But come on, with the way he was drinking, how the heck would he have enough strength to snatch the gun from a retired cop, or active duty cop in this case, and then shoot himself with it? Come on now. Something's amiss here. And then Putt ends up coughing up more blood. She keeps talking about taking him to a hospital, but Grandma ain't having none of it. Why not? Next day we see Mia that made it to the grandparents' house. She looks off at the corner and finds out Latte's dead as shit. Now I remember the last thing he had. He had some milk after Putt spilled it by accident. Wait a minute. Grandma keeps trying to give him milk, and Prem is like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Mia comes to the house. She's like, man, fuck both of y'all. I'm getting my kids. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Grandpa finally comes back. She goes off on Grandpa. Then she sees the milk and puts two and two together after she saw Putt coughing up blood. See, Grandma always hated Crit and wanted to kill him, and she's been confusing Putt for Crit. We find out the reason Putt's been coughing up blood is because Grandma's been mixing rat poison in with the damn milk. That's why she didn't want Pim to drink it, because she loves Pim. Grandma, you ain't shit. Because she wants her so-called family to be perfect, which actually triggered something in Mia's mind. She remembered back in the day that Prina was always drinking Grandma's milk too. Oh shit. So she's been poisoning with milk too. And she probably got used to the taste. That's probably why she saw it when she was in the fucking closet. Yeah, you've been poisoning niggas for a minute. And because Prim was so beautiful to her, she always wanted to keep her healthy. So she basically tells her grandparents to stay the fuck away from the rest of their life and she won't press charges. So they get back home, but when they do, there's more to the story. So she tells them the rest of it. So apparently Mom was able to see that hole in the wall too. But we figured out the deformity didn't get any better from Prina because of the fact Grandma was feeding her rat poison in the milk. It could have actually got better if she wasn't doing that shit. Crazy. Later that night, Grandpa gets a phone call from the police. Turns out the police report was right. Chien-Wan was not the one driving. Him and his girlfriend were in the back seat and somebody else was driving the car. But new witnesses turned up. So they gotta bring in Grandpa for questioning. Plus they ended up getting new images from the car. As it turns out, the car had a camera in it right from the get-go. Holy shit, it probably recorded everything he did to Chi-Han. Wow. So at this point, like, yeah, he's pretty much fucked. But Grandma starts spazzing out again and then she ends up opening the closet door. And Prina's just haunting her soul at this point. She starts spewing blood on her. The image is fucking crazy. Grandpa hurries downstairs. When he sees her, she's basically just been spazzing out and she's actually drinking rat poison the whole time. Apparently she just gets up out the blue, and to Grandpa, she looks like Chien. He ends up shooting like 4 times, and of course ends up killing Grandma. Realizing he fucked up, he done deals himself. The crazy thing is, back at the house, Mia looks through her own hole, and we go back to what really happened. Now, while Prina was playing hide and seek, she still had the door a little bit open. What happened was when Grandma Wan was coming down the steps, she just seen the door open and she closed it and locked it. So she was actually the one that locked Prina in the closet while Crit was asleep. So this shit was her fault right from the get-go. Why didn't Prina yell out or say something? She started yelling after the fact, but it was too late by then. So we go back to when we found out when Prina died and Grandpa was looking at Crit. Turns out Grandpa was about to beat the shit out of this nigga. He was gonna pour some drink on him and fuck him up again too. What was he gonna do after that? So he pretty much grabs him by his head. It looked like he's going for his gun. So you think he's about to kill this nigga just on GP. He ends up getting shot in his head, done deal, dead. But it turns out Mia was the one that had the gun. Oh shit. Mia killed her own husband. But the crazy thing is she don't even know that her grandma was the one that actually locked her in the fucking closet. So basically that's when Grandpa covered it up and told Grandma that he took his own life. Man, this whole shit was crazy. Last image we see is Mia putting on some lipstick and Prim lying in the bed, holding hands metaphorically with a dead Prina. So wait a minute, what the heck happened to Putt throughout all this? Did he survive the rat poison? They didn't give us no update on it other than the fact that they all just came back to the house. The Whole Truth on Netflix. Check it out. Like, subscribe, do all that. You know what time it is. These are the easy bits. Big. Could have got a slogan.